Welcome to the Insurance Buzz. This is your host, Michael Weaver, and we have Courtney Weaver with us here today. Courtney, how are you?
Whoop whoop! I am so good.
So today, we're going to be discussing how and the importance of differentiating yourself to get away from price and really focus on the value you and your agency bring to customers and why it's important.
Yeah, and I think it's a great topic to talk about because there's so much money that is being spent on talking about price. And when you're talking to a customer, how many times is their biggest objection price? Mm-hmm. Or they say, quote me the exact same coverage. I just want what I currently have. Why don't you just quote me what I currently have? Let's look at apples to apples and why I think, and I think you think, apples to apples is trash.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'll touch base on, number one, some really good statistics that you should know. Two, some things that you can do to differentiate yourself and add value to your customer to help get away from that price objection.
Yeah. So how much money is spent? Do you know how much money is spent on advertising talking about price? We looked this up before.
$7 billion. That's with a B. $7
with
billion
B. Spent on marketing. So we did some research. That was a few years ago, talking about switching your insurance to get a better rate. We can save you money, get a better rate. So there's a lot of talk about price. So naturally, I think it's important to talk about this for just a second. If the marketing messaging is all about price, that's what your customer is going to be focused on. And I get it, because especially now with what the economy is like, we're focused on our budget, how much are we spending, what are we spending our money on, and I think that it's really important. But I think there's some other things that we can do to stand out and separate ourselves from the crowd as insurance professionals.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you have to think about the Geicos of the world that have spent billions of dollars on advertising for the last 30 years to our age group.
Millennials.
Yep. So
even though I'm an elder, I'm not going to claim just a regular straight millennial.
We're elder millennials, all right? But that has been what has been pumped into our almost system belief when it comes to insurance is, insurance is just a commodity. Just go with the cheapest rate.
Yeah.
Just check out the Lizard, check out Flow.
Get online.
Like, who can save me the most money? I don't need an agent. Like, what is it, 15 minutes or less? I don't even know what their thing is. But, and so now you've got insurance professionals that not only do they have to overcome the economic uncertainty, the price war, but they have to really make sure that they're selling themselves and getting away from that commodity game.
And I think that it's easy to fall into that, especially we're not excluded from that messaging. So as an insurance professional, we're still seeing that. So we're hyper present and hyper aware of, not only are we getting told every single day that somebody wants to save money, we're also in that same situation. So that's where, selling out of your own pocket comes into play a lot. And I think that when you're talking about apples to apples, this is the baseline of how you can separate yourself in any industry, but especially in our industry of how do you offer a product or coverage that better suits this person's situation all across the board. And that's taking into account their finances.
Absolutely. And the other thing that we looked at before was 30 million. All right. 30 million people shop for auto insurance on an annual basis.
That makes our job. And I think that that's where, when we're talking about really creating a value-based proposition and not selling apples to apples and really offering them something unique and different, you're going to be fighting retention. If you already know that this much money is being pumped in to create this message and this many people have this propensity to shop, so you have two things that you already have to fight right there. And you and I both know that when you're talking about a customer, money is made on retention, especially in insurance. We're looking at the residual game. So we have to look at not only how do we attract and create something up front that makes people want to do business with us, but then we also have to provide something above and beyond that makes them want to stay and not want to shop. So I think that this is a conversation not only when you're talking about acquiring new business, but retaining the kind of business that you want. So I think there's some really easy ways that you can do it, that you cannot sell apples to apples. And I would encourage you, if you are out there and you have this like twinge that happens every time somebody says, just quote me the current coverage that I have, just give me exactly what I'm looking at, want the same limits, want the same deductibles, want the same, to push a little bit past that. I know it's uncomfortable, but as a consumer, not only do I want education, but I want service. I am willing to pay for service. So let's talk about it. So what are some things that we can do that differentiate ourselves to where we're not quoting apples to apples? What's the unique value proposition that we can provide?
Yeah, I mean, the automatic easy one is automatically quoting more liability limits on every single customer. Like more coverage every single time. That is the easiest way you can automatically differentiate yourself from those other 10, 15, 20 people that might be talking to that potential prospect.
So why would you do that aside from just separating yourself? Why would you quote higher liability limits or more coverage?
Yeah, great question. So, number one, you're taking care of the consumer. The consumer doesn't know what the consumer doesn't know. Again, they've been fed this advertising years and years and years of just save money, just save money, just save money.
Go with the cheapest.
They don't understand that, hey, if something happens, dang, like I've got insurance, so they automatically think I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I'm good. When in reality, we all know that's not the case.
Yeah.
And so my golden rule was always, look, I'm going to quote that customer. I'm going to make sure that if something happens to them, just like they were my mom, my dad, my grandma, grandpa, I'd say even more importantly, if they run into me tomorrow, I want to make sure my medical bills are paid for. Like
they hit me, I want to be covered.
Yeah, like I want to make sure that I'm covered, they're covered, we're all good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that that's important because as an insurance professional, this may be the first time that you ever have a conversation about liability limits. I know up until I was in this space, I had no idea. I just assumed that it was all the same. We got it. We're rolling. It's all good. And then you think about even the cost of vehicles anymore. So you're talking about state minimum liability limits. When you have to look across the board at not only, medical costs, the cost of living, but a new vehicle on average costs almost 50 grand.
Yeah.
And so if you are not quoting coverages that are above and beyond what they currently have, what are we even doing?
You're not doing your job is the thing. So here's the other thing with the more coverages. As an insurance professional, you're selling insurance, you're selling an intangible product. You're selling promises. And so within that conversation, the only way that you're going to effectively be able to communicate that you are different, just not the value your office brings, but what does your actual policy or plan do for that consumer that is different than they're currently receiving, okay? By increasing liability limits and then having that educational, value-based conversation with folks where you are story selling, and if you can effectively communicate, hey, here are the limits you currently have, and if you were in an accident, this is how that's going to protect you, or that's how it's going to pay out. Does that concern you at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas, hey, I wanted to walk you through that, and this is what I'm going to be proposing, because this is going to make sure that if you do get into an accident, that you are properly insured. That, hey, you're not going to have to worry about fronting that bill. I've got your back. More importantly, the $1 billion company that I'm representing has your back. And if you can effectively communicate this in almost like a story selling approach, you can actually get the customer to visualize their situation of, holy smokes, I am really, really in bad shape if an accident does happen, which is why consumers have insurance in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that being able to, you bring up a great point with the intangible. What we're selling is security. That is what insurance is. It's peace of mind. It's a feeling. It's not even really a tangible thing that you can grasp and hold in your hands. And so I think people have a hard time relating to that. What?
Something just came to mind. It's like when we owned the agency and you always were like, I mean, you got the Superman on your chest and you were always like, we're the protector of assets. Like, but it's so true.
We are the protector of assets because you spend your entire life, this is a side note, but I think this is very important in the insurance profession. Human beings will spend their entire life building and acquiring and growing a life and a legacy. And it is our duty and responsibility to protect that. And at the very least, educate on what this actually means. Empower people to make a decision that's not just based on price. Because I'm telling you right now, I will pay for education and I will pay a little bit more or a lot of bit more for service, for coverage, for education. There's a lot of things I'm going to spend more money on. And I think when we start rewiring our brains and thinking of it from that perspective, like what would you spend more money on? Yep. Like how important is this to you? If it's not, you might not be in the right occupation.
And here's the thing, you're not alone, Courtney. So yes, sure. Companies in 2019, I think is what we read, spent $7 billion on advertising, saving people money in the insurance industry. But 9 out of 10 consumers have said they're willing to pay more for something if they find value in it or if it adds value to their life. And so although companies and agents may start a conversation or may intrigue someone, hook a consumer into having a conversation about, hey, we might be able to help you out saving some money.
Yeah.
If you can effectively communicate how you can add value to that consumer and pull away from the money, consumers are still willing, and I believe they are even looking for that individual that is willing to have that conversation. They want to do business with people that do protect them, that do add value to their lives. They don't just want to do business with a company because you can save, because a company or an agent can save them money. Like
that's just an attention grabber.
If they sign up with you because of money, they're leaving you because of money. Like that's the last thing you want to build a business on is saving money because you have zero control over money. You have, what did you say earlier?
I said there is a CFO in a fancy suite that is making changes on rates based on data. They're looking at numbers. And you cannot build a business based on price because you have no control over that. That is going to fluctuate like crazy. And I mean, really, it's a CFO saying, this is what it looks like, and then the C-suite gets together and they make a decision based on market trends and what's happening and all the data and research that they have. So you have to really look at your business, whatever your role is in the agency, regardless of if you're a producer, if you focus on service, like you have to add value above and beyond things that you have no control over.
Yep.
And price is the one thing that you actually have no control over. Yep. So let's talk about some other things that we can do to add value. So we're not just selling apples to apples. So right off the bat, you said higher limits.
More higher liability limits. Period.
Give them more coverage.
More coverage. Second.
Because it's going to make sense. We already know it's going to make sense. It's 2022, almost 2023. It's expensive.
It is expensive. If you're quoting, look, my golden rule is always if you're quoting anyone less than 100 or 300, you're not doing your job in the insurance world. So, but the second thing that you can do that automatically adds value to a consumer, more products.
Yeah.
And it's really easy. Hey, included in the quote today is going to be a renter's insurance quote, homeowner's insurance, life insurance, that supplemental medical policy. I mean, whatever you want to do.
That fits their situation.
Their situation. That's automatically more value because the other company is not doing it.
Because they don't care.
No.
They're not taking the time to get to another customer. They're just here's your quote. This is what you currently have. Let me match it. Kick it out the door. Instead of actually having a conversation with a human being on, hey, if this were me, I would want somebody to talk to me about this. So here's an area where I see you might be at risk.
Yep.
You don't currently have this. Let's talk about your situation. What does this look like? And I think going back to all of this and how if it makes you uncomfortable to talk about this, remember that people want to be seen and heard and taken care of. I don't care what industry you're in. So you have to think about how would you want to be treated? How would you want to be taken care of? Wouldn't you want somebody, if you walked into a doctor's office, for them to be like, hey, I know you came in here for a headache, but it looks like I might need to do a scan on this area because something's happening here. That's what you're paying for.
Absolutely.
You want them to have that foresight to protect these things. So now I'm getting on a soapbox. I'm all fired up.
I mean, as an insurance professional, you signed up for this to be there for people on their worst day.
Yeah.
How can you actually be there for people on their worst day if you're not creating a plan to help protect them from their worst day?
Yeah.
Or on their worst day? Mm-hmm. And that starts with that upfront conversation.
For sure.
More coverage, more policies. Next.
It's my favorite.
Appointment?
No. Well, yeah.
I think that is in.
I thought you were gonna say service. I got all fired up.
So service. All right, we'll go with service in a second.
You know I love service.
Look, I want to reiterate appointments though.
Okay.
Because and data supports this. Like people are looking for that go-to person. Yes, they're looking for the online availability. Yes, they're looking to be able to make changes to their policies when they want to. But people are still just people. Mm-hmm. And people are looking for that go-to insurance professional, that go-to person that is knowledgeable in the things that they're not knowledgeable in. Hey, if I make a change to my policy, what does that mean exactly? Hey, I want to retire someday. How do I get there? Hey, I want to make sure my family's financially protected. How do I do that?
Yeah, I have a question.
So yes, they want the ability to do business quickly. Yes, they want the ability to be able to control and have that sense of control on their end with either their phone or online. But they still want the ability to contact that person that they trust that can help them out.
I think you're bringing up a good point here, and I think it all ties together too, is that consumers want both.
Yes, absolutely. They want the best of both worlds. They want the cake and they want to eat it too. And I think that they should.
Yes. And I think that the same applies when it comes to price and coverage. And I think when you're talking about, at least this is how we teach, we're going to give you the appropriate and best coverage for your situation at the best price that we can find.
Yep.
And I think when you say it like that, people hear that. They understand that. When you're saying both, I'm going to give you the flexibility to make changes on your end, but hey, if you have any questions,
I got your back.
I'm
here for you.
Yeah.
And
we're both raising our hands and getting all fired
So I want to go back into the appointment because I just said appointment. So you have to be meeting with your customers. Now, here's the beautiful thing. If you don't want to meet with your customers in person, technology, look, if there's one thing that came from the pandemic, everyone now knows how to utilize technology to their advantage. I don't care if it's my 84-year-old grandpa. He can jump on and the phone, FaceTime, Zoom.
Everyone's doing it with their doctor, with their lawyer.
That's how business, and that's not going to slow down going into the future. So the excuse of I don't like to meet with people, that's a terrible freaking excuse.
It's shorting you and your customer.
You have to meet with people, not only to build that relationship, that know, like, trust factor, but that's what's going to build that relationship that makes them a customer, not just for 6 months, but hopefully 6 years, hopefully 60 years. All right. That is the point. You don't want to always be chasing and chasing and chasing. You want to build a customer base in my belief, you build a customer base that is ranting and raving about you, you will never have to worry about how you're going to attract new business ever again. And the only way you do that is by establishing that relationship with the customer, not just on day one, but continuously throughout their relationship with you. Mm-hmm. And it's really easy. Check in. Hey, love to jump on a 15, 30-minute conversation with you. Come into the office. Let's meet virtually. What works best for you? It is not hard.
But I think it sets again, going back to the front end intention and expectation. If you're not here to just push a product, if you're not here to just quote apples to apples, and you're really genuinely all about how do I make sure that I provide the coverages that fit your situation and whatever price I can do for you in that thing, then that sets up when they come in for an appointment. I'm not here to get anything from you. I'm here to make sure that everything is the same, or if we need to change, or if we need to modify. I think it's beyond quoting apples to apples and having more. I think it's about genuinely caring about people.
It's about adding value to people's lives.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, you're in sales, you're in insurance, you are in the people business.
Mm-hmm. Service.
You're in the people business. Yeah. People are people.
Yeah.
And look, if you're like, man, y'all are full of shit, then that's great. Run your business. Have a high lapse can. Have that high
walk out the back door.
Don't get referrals. Yeah. Like, who cares? And that's cool.
I just don't want to build a business like that.
I don't either. I just want to take care of people.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make sure that if they do hit me, I'm good, they're good. Yeah. I want to make sure I'm not having to sue them and be like, hey, man, I know I set your insurance up wrong, but now I got to sue you and garnish your wages, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
no, I saved you $100 a year, but I'm going to need that back now.
Times about like 100. Like, it's why, but when you put things in perspectives to customers, because again, consumers don't know what consumers don't know. So if you're willing to have that conversation that nobody else is willing to have because they're so focused on, oh man, I hope I can save you money. I hope I can save you money. I hope I can save you money. Yeah, I'm going to give you those state minimum coverages. I'm not going to explain anything, but hey, I can save you that $25 a month. Let's get this rolling today. Oh, great. Well, the $25 you just saved them could turn into a $200,000 expense for them one day.
Yeah.
Like, that's serious. Like, and that's why we're doing this episode today, because what you do every single day matters. Like, you have the ability, again, to make sure someone has a plan that when their worst day happens, they're not hurt financially. Mm-hmm. They're not devastated financially. And next, let's go to customer service, okay? And we'll end with service, but what are some things that folks can do from a servicing standpoint? All right.
I think an easy one where you're talking about meeting with your customers is really showing up for them, whether that's, community events, barbecues. Here's the easiest one that you can do. Okay. So a few weeks ago, we started the process of looking for a service in our business. I'm going to give you an example just so you can hear where this is at. I am willing and able to spend money on this service. I am ready. I am meeting with different vendors to try to find out. I'm trying to get quotes, and I'm trying to see who best aligns with us. I reach out to many people. I am proactively like, here, take my money. One person responded back to me, and then I never heard from them again. Yep. So now I'm at square one. The easiest thing, and I can throw out like barbecues and be friends with them on Facebook and all these things. The easiest thing that you can do from a customer service standpoint is effectively communicate, set expectations, call people back in a timely manner, respond to their emails, get their problem taken care of. Hey, I know you had a change of vehicle. We just wanted to let you know, got that all taken care of. Is there anything else that I can do for you? Any other questions that you have? Please let me know. That's the easiest thing. That requires nothing. You don't have to invest anything except time there. Like, that is the easiest thing that you can do from a customer service standpoint, is to have clear communications, set expectations. If you're working on something that's a little bit meatier and it's going to take some time, and I get that. In our industry, some things aren't quick. There's some things where you're waiting on, and I think this is a big thing because a lot of times we're waiting on claims, we're waiting on service, we're waiting on underwriting. Just communicate that with your customer. Like, I waited months for furniture, but they communicated with me. This is where we're at. I'm so sorry. If there's anything I can do, I'll let you know. Just wanted to give you a heads up on this is the status. It's the easiest thing you can do for customer service. Communicate. Own it. If it's taken longer, that's okay. People are okay with that. They just need to be in the loop.
Yep. Just provide customer service.
Yeah.
Like,
if you even respond to an email or call somebody back, I'm telling you right now, you are head and shoulders above everyone else. Mm-hmm. It's wild how there is such a lack of customer service. And I'm over here like, take my money, please. So if it's happening in other industries, it's happening in our industry. So that's an easy way. Set yourself apart. Just go above and beyond. Do the one more thing that somebody else wouldn't be willing to do. Instead of just changing cars and being like, all right, I got it done. Change the car, call them back. Hey, I did this. That's the one thing that most people aren't doing. Hey, they want a new ID card. Email them the new ID card, give them a call. Hey, did you receive that ID card via email? I'm going to pop it in the mail just to make sure that you get that as well. Easy. Oh, I would lose my gourd for that. I would be like, oh my God.
Yep. It's that one extra step.
Yep, one extra step.
It's the one extra step that nobody else is doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you can do that, you do take customers and you turn them into lifelong customers. You turn them into raving fans.
Yep.
Like, everybody wants more referrals. Do the things we're talking about right now.
It starts on the front end.
It starts on the front end, and then you have to be... Yep. Look, it's not... Look, the front end is like a first date. Mm-hmm. But then, how do you continue to keep that customer warm? Like, you gotta keep them warmed up. You gotta keep them ranting and raving about you. You have to continuously do something to keep them in love with you.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. 90% of customers are the great customers. They're the customers that are never calling you. They never need anything. Yeah. So how can you make sure that when the 90% does need something, that they fall back in love with you? Because if they have a bad experience when they need you, they're gone. Mm-hmm. Like, they never use you, and then when they do use you, it's a poor experience. Like,
come on. Yeah, because then it's like, you know how hard it is to not only pay for new business to come in, to go through the presentation and the quote and building rapport, and then you got to start over. And again, that's what we're talking about. Don't lose it on the back end. Yep. Just build in a way that it adds value to your consumer. So I know we're driving this home, but I think service is incredible.
Service is a must.
It's an easy thing. It doesn't require any money.
Great communication, like you said.
Yeah.
Just communicate. That's all people want to be. Like, they just want to be communicated to. What's going on?
Yeah. Give them a heads up.
All right. So, man, I thought today was good. You're dropping some nuggets
fun
today. So, if you all enjoyed this episode, please give us a 5-star review. That would be amazing. Tell people about us. Share it on the socials. Tag us. Whatever you feel like doing. That would be amazing. Courtney, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, I love having you. So
you have to keep saying that by married law, right?
No, this is fun. This is fun. It's always great because we get different perspectives.
Yeah.
So, as you all know, all right, time is the most valuable and important asset that we all have. So we appreciate you spending time with us today. If there is anything we can do for you, please let us know. Other than that, go out and make it great, my friends.